Okay, well, welcome to Female Founders, and we are excited to be here. This is an amazing group of women, and we've been on Clubhouse, but we are also LinkedIn junkies, and we love to be on LinkedIn. And we said, let's just try to do this together. So we're testing some stuff, so be patient with us. This is called Grace. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to have one subject every week. And we're going to meet every Wednesday night at this time, which is 5:15 Central, my time. I think it's 6:15 Eastern. And we are going to be here for you. And we have worked hard the last week and a half of coming up with some great content. And tonight's content is all about imposter syndrome. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. One of the things I want to do tonight is introduce myself, and then I'm going to kick it off to Catherine, and she's going to introduce herself, and then Lynn and Liz and Julie. And then we're going to come back around and we're going to talk about what imposter syndrome is and how we've seen it in our lives as founders. And this room is called Female Founders Talk Shop, and that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing it a little differently tonight, though, because we don't want to reverberate our mics. So you'll hear us kind of one at a time. If you're on LinkedIn Live and you have questions, please put them in the chat, the comments, and we will be monitoring that and answer your questions. For those of you on Clubhouse, just know that we're going to be coming in and getting you guys up to stage and answering your questions as well. So I'm excited about tonight. I don't know about you ladies, but this is pretty exciting to do this. And I love this group because we said, let's just do it and we'll just figure it out. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you for joining. I am so honored to be with this amazing group of women. And again, my name is Dana Williams, and I'm the founder of Dana Williams Consulting. And I help people transform their lives from the inside out. And I'm excited about sharing what that looks like and the differences I've seen in people and what I love about helping people birth their purpose and impact the world. And that's the biggest challenge that I help people with right now is they feel like they're not making an impact, and we help them unlock their talents and do that. So I'm going to kick it off to Catherine, and she can introduce herself and probably talk about anything I forgot in the introduction. So here you go, Catherine.
Super. Thanks so much. So I'm Catherine Brown, and I love all things sales. So I am a speaker and author and sales trainer, and my business is called Extra Bold Sales. I wrote a book called How Good Humans Sell. And so I'm always focused on what is the most human, thoughtful, empathetic way to sell so that we can overturn that negative stereotype about selling, which unfortunately continues to exist because people don't act like good humans. So imposter syndrome, Dana, comes up. I see it a lot in the realm of selling, especially when the business owner becomes the seller. Because unfortunately, lots of practitioners start out saying, I'm going to practice my craft and leave corporate and go out on my own. And then they find out, oh, I also have to sell. And so they feel nervous as soon as something might be a little outside the scope of what they're typically offer, or when they have to wear a role and put on a hat they haven't before. So, if you were, marketing leader in a company, but you didn't have to sell the services before, then that can be an opportunity for imposter syndrome to come up. So I love this topic tonight. I'm delighted to be here talking about it, and thanks for including me in this awesome group. So for our friends that are in Clubhouse, we are also broadcasting live on LinkedIn right now. And so if you follow any of us, any of these mods in the room, you can also catch us over on LinkedIn. We'll keep the LinkedIn room open for about maybe 25 more minutes. And when we shut that down, then we will invite people in Clubhouse to come up. So right now is a teaching and explanation time from the mods. And then we invite you to participate in the discussion about imposter syndrome for the rest of our time in Clubhouse when we shut down LinkedIn. Lynn, would you like to be next?
Okay, technically challenged over here, but I think everyone should be able to hear me on both places. I'm Lynn Tickner, and I'm the founder of my little company that could, called Ink and Key. And we specialize in naming because people get stuck when they're trying to come up with a name for their business or a rebrand or trying to name a product. And so I created a really fun and exciting process for business owners so they can get the name that is a good fit for them. And then we help them create clear brand messaging so they can hit the ground running and grow as a business. So that's what I do, and I love it. And I mean, I have personally struggled with imposter syndrome and still do. And so this is an awesome topic. And I hope that I can learn a lot from all you ladies and from others who are going to join us on stage later and people that are on LinkedIn that can make comments. Because it's a big deal. I think for me with imposter syndrome, my number one enemy is self-talk. And so that is, I think if I were going to attack it on my own, that's what I have to work on myself, is listening to how I'm speaking to myself about things, because usually it's not true. So I'm Lynn, I'm through speaking, and I'm going to pass it over to Liz.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lynn. So I'm Liz Cortez, and I'm down in San Diego, and a lot of local businesses, they struggle with getting found on Google. So that is what I love, is getting you found so you can get more traffic to your website. We have a 5-step process, and I've been working with my husband for 7 years as of 2 weeks ago. 7 years. So I like to talk about that stuff too. I know there's some people listening here that work with their spouses or a family member. Yeah, it can be tough sometimes. And so we just love driving more traffic to your website, because then if you're a local business, you'll get more traffic locally or online if you only work from your home office. And imposter syndrome, oh my gosh, I have been dealing with this week. I signed up for a 3-week pitch class. So after this, Catherine, you'd be so proud. I'm pitching. I have 2.5 minutes to pitch to this group. And I've been working with someone who does she's like way, not, maybe that's not nice to say, way old. She looked at not old. That's not very nice. She's like done 2.5 billion in sales. So very good with pitching and all that stuff, like HSN Shark Tank style. And so tonight is my turn to pitch. I've been working with her for 3 weeks and pitching to her group. And I felt like an imposter every single time I get on to practice in her little group of 20 of us. And this is the 3rd week in a row. After I get off, I cry. That's how much of an imposter. And I get on there. She's like, Liz, you're an influencer. Come on, be confident. Stand in your, your influence. You speak and people do stuff. You're an influencer. And so even with that, I still cry, and it's so embarrassing. So I'm in the muck of it, and in an hour and a half is my go time to pitch to this group. And I'm so nervous. And I was nervous to do this too. So yeah, awesome. That's my share. And I'm passing it over to Julie.
Okay, I hope we don't get reverb going on here. But anyhow, hi, everybody. I am Julie Stroud. I'm the owner of Bright Brand. And what I do is I help coaches and consulting businesses who are finding it difficult to generate all the leads that they need to and grow their businesses. So I'm a brand strategist, and I guide coaches and consultants through a 1-day transformation of creating their brand, or reestablishing, refining their brand so they can scale their businesses and reach more customers. And I love this concept that we're talking about today, because like Liz, I'm in the thick of it right now as well. I just launched a product today, and it's just blowing up on my computer. It's super fun today, but I had to blow through so many of these terrible thoughts that we have that are very limiting. And, we've got that enemy in our mind that's just telling us, you can't do this. Who do you think you are? But we just power through, and what's on the other side is success, and we've stretched ourselves. So I'm so excited to talk about this today. Dana, back to you.
Yeah, thank you. I think this, and my dog is down at my feet. I gave him a peanut butter thing, so he's rattling something. So hopefully that won't make too much noise. But one of the things I thought would be great to kick us off on this subject is to really define what it is. Because I was looking around, and I always go either to Gallup or Harvard or one of my, research people that I like to go find and say, what does this really mean? And this is from Harvard Business Review. And they said it's loosely defined as doubting your abilities and feeling like a fraud. And so it's disproportionately affects high achieving people. Did you hear that, ladies? High achieving people. This is not for people who aren't high achieving. This affects high achieving people who find it difficult to accept their accomplishments. Have y'all felt like that, where somebody says, "Oh, great job," and you're like, "Yeah, not really. I should have done this." And it's that self-talk that Lynn talked about, and it's a little bit of how we're all talking to ourselves. So then I was wondering, okay, well, how do you overcome imposter syndrome? Because I think I'm fairly new with starting my business a year ago. And I definitely went through this of like, who do I think I am that I can do this and all those things. And one of the things that I loved, and I think this also comes from Harvard, is the things, this comes from Stanford, the things you can do. There's 10 things you can do to overcome this. And the number one thing, guess what, ladies? The number one thing is embrace your strengths. Hello. I'm a Clifton Strengths coach, and I know it's not the magic bullet, but it's so powerful when you're trying to make sure that you're making an impact and you're feeling energized. And whether you're Liz and you're pitching tonight, I would say, Liz, use your talents. That's where you're going to get your energy. Don't try to get it from what somebody else in the room is doing on it. I think I got the best advice from my coach. She said, put blinders on. Don't even think about other people, just work on yourself. And one of the other tips they said is actually have a buddy. Who's your buddy that you can say, man, guys, can you be praying for me or help me through this or let me practice with you or whatever? I'm going through this tonight, help me through that. And I feel like you guys are my buddy tonight. Here we're trying something new, and it's working. So, and then I think I'm going to pick one other one, avoid comparing yourself. And we've all heard that quote, comparison is the thief of joy. And several people are noted as saying that. But I think that's one of the big things that we all go through is we want to compare ourselves. And Liz, when you were talking about this woman who's amazing and what was it, $2 billion or something, but that could be you. But we don't think that, we can tell you that. But how do you tell yourself that? And I think that's one of the other ways of overcoming imposter syndrome. What are some other things you guys have done to overcome imposter syndrome? I'm going to kick it off to Catherine. Oops. Okay. And Catherine.
Thanks, Dana. Do you need to mute?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, super. Hi, all. I'll do a quick reset. I see John, Sherry, and Anna are in the Clubhouse room, and we want to also be checking if we have any comments on LinkedIn Live. So let's try to multitask and do that at the same time. So thanks all for going first with us. And Laura just joined. We really appreciate that you're here, and we're broadcasting in two places as an experiment tonight. So thanks so much for going first with us. We're talking about this topic of imposter syndrome, and Dana just mentioned some things that we know about this from research. I have two quick suggestions, Dana, that I'll just go through real quick because this is an issue that most of my clients with my sales training express concern about. And one of the things that I like to do is look for real data that the value I'm providing is out there and that people appreciate it. And when I say real data, what I mean is tracking reviews, noticing when people give you referrals, and doing all kinds of those type of actions where you actually either keep stuff in a folder or I think it's a little bit hard to see on my shelf back here, but I actually have this beautiful jar of marbles, and every single time someone tells me that something I did or wrote or shared or covered in a training helped them, I actually put a marble in that jar, and I start over every month. And I look at the jar sometimes when I feel nervous or have to take action, because that to me is real proof. I don't make up the reasons for the marbles. The marbles get put when real things happen. Another quick example of that is there's a wonderful sales trainer named Daryl Amy, and he has what he calls his Don't Quit folder. And he prints stuff, and he has this giant folder where he just saves reviews and comments and emails. And when he feels discouraged sometimes or wonders if what he's doing is making a difference, or feels nervous, aka getting toward imposter syndrome, he looks at that social proof that was actually captured as it happened. I think that's so powerful. So I really love that. That's the main point. Those two examples are the main things I wanted to say, which I would say, I don't think it's helpful when we say, oh, don't believe that. I think it's helpful when we say, well, what proof do we have that what you're worried about is actually not true? And then we track it. So I think that's really worked for me. So those are some suggestions I would make, and things that has helped me to battle this issue, which I believe most people have. So I'll pass off to Lynn next.
Yes, my headphones are popping out. Hey there, Lynn Tickner, for those people who are on Clubhouse. It's Lynn speaking. And yeah, imposter syndrome is a big thing for me because running a marketing company, I actually started my company and I was a homeschool mom. So I did not have like a background in marketing or anything like that. I knew how to write. I knew how to teach writing. And another day you can go on my website and read some of the backstory about my family. So I think marketing's in my blood, but still, my first client call, my stomach hurt so bad. I was so nervous. I told everybody in the house, I mean, this was several years ago, but I'm like, don't come in. I've got a call. And I like practiced, and my stomach was churning. I was so nervous. And of course it went fine. But the biggest thing I've learned is do scary things, do hard things, and practice until it feels more comfortable. Same thing with just every new thing that I've tried. Super scary at the beginning, but now, I mean, I'm on client calls all day, every day, and I don't really prepare that much. I mean, if I need to prepare, I will, but if it's the same general thing that people are asking about, I feel confident that I do know how to advise them on just how to make some improvements to their website, or if I need to get on a call with someone about a name or a brand. I feel pretty confident now that I can help them. That doesn't mean I still don't struggle, but one thing I have learned is, over the last several years is push through, if it's hard, if it feels scary, push through anyway, because probably I'm the only one that is sending that message to myself about the fact that I can't do this. This is awful. Because most people, will come to me and look at me as an expert in this or that. And my self-talk is like, it's just me. Why are they coming to me? It's just, but it's like, no, I have worked for this, and I do know what I'm talking about because I've seen the results of it. So give yourself some good positive self-talk and practice. That's my advice. And I'm still in the middle of it like everybody else, but I'm going to stop and pass on to Liz.
Thanks, Lynn. Yeah, just to reset, we are streaming on LinkedIn Live for like another 5 more minutes, I think. And then we're going to be inviting you guys up onto our couch. And so we'll be doing that in about 5 minutes. But imposter syndrome is what our topic is for today. And I'm glad Sherry's on here. My tip is you need to have friends you can call when you're having a hard time that encourage you and inspire you and lift you up. It could be your course bestie, live event bestie, like whoever you do stuff with. So that's Sherry for me as one of mine. And we both have local SEO agencies. We do similar stuff. Oh yeah, Sherry wants to come up to the couch. She wants to come talk. But yeah, we have similar agencies. And I think sometimes, especially for us, that we are women and there's not many women that are well known in this space. And sometimes you don't want to share the stage, and you don't want to share what strategies you're doing or what you're nervous about doing or the new thing that you're doing. Like she's just launched a podcast, and but we've been buddies for I don't know how many years, 5 years, 4 years, and that's really, really helpful. The second thing that a coach told it wasn't me, but I've been taking this like mantra on like the past few weeks. Maybe it's not mantra. I don't know. I don't do yoga. I don't know if that's the right word, but the statement, instead of saying, I can't believe this happened, you change it to, as expected, I did a call with 2 franchisors last week. As expected, I had a $30,000 signed proposal this week. So I have been noticing, when do I see, well, I can't believe this happened, or I can't believe. And if you listen to it, I don't know a ton about NLP or that stuff, but I know that you're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to say, I'm trying, I can't, like, that's no, like, try to get that out of your vocabulary and just be aware of how much you're doing that in your head. Or if you're telling stories to your friends, I think that just keeps the imposter syndrome going, and change it to, as expected, fill in the blank for the cool stuff that happened. That's it for me. I'm Liz. Pass it over to Julie.
Sorry, got to unmute here. Okay, so such great things that everybody's bringing up. One of the things I wanted to say about imposter syndrome is like a trigger for me, and a very common trigger when people are dealing with imposter syndrome is the need to be perfect, or the desire to be, or that voice in your head saying, you got to go for that 100%. If you're going to do it, you do it right. Otherwise don't bother. That kind of thing. And I sometimes I can picture my mom, who's no longer with us, but just this whole notion of if you're going to do it, do it right. And, and the whole concept of charging money for your services. And if people are going to give up their hard-earned money and trust you with something so important, I mean, you got to give your blood, sweat, and tears, and so that kind of feeds in that whole imposter syndrome. So I wanted to say that, like, today has been like almost serendipitous that we're talking about this, because like I said earlier, I launched this product inside my community of, professionals, my colleagues. And there were moments when I was doing these training videos and stuff, and I'm thinking, who am I to do this video for people that have been in this line of work for way longer than me? And I would just, I sometimes picture like the little angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other. And I just want to flick that little devil off my shoulder and be like, get out of here, and, like, I've earned the right to share, to share, what my expertise is and what I've learned. And, maybe there's duplication in here. Maybe some people watch this video and go, I know this stuff. They can skip it then. There's other things in this package that is of value here. And what's always of value is your perspective on the matter. So like Liz was saying, you've got a place on this stage. So share your expertise. And if you can just picture the angel on one shoulder, which we want to keep her there, but the devil on the other, and flick him off your shoulder, because he's whispering lies in there that everybody is of value and everybody has something to say. And the truth of the matter is, we're going to be dealing with this throughout our whole lives, because what we're doing over and over again is we just keep expanding that circle of our comfort zone. And so now we have a new comfort zone when we do something new. We've pushed past, that devil on our shoulder saying bad things in our head. And we've pushed past, we've achieved a new level of, ability. And then we coast for a while. Then guess what? There's a new challenge in front of us, or, we're high achieving people. We want to go for the next thing. And guess what crops up again? That negative voice in our head. And we just flick it off your shoulder. And you have to tell yourself, if it's perfectionism that's a trigger for you, look, what's that saying? All of a sudden I'm losing it. Done is better than perfect. And think about the last book you read. I can guarantee the last book you read had errors in it, but guess what? It got published anyways, because we are imperfect people. We're going to make mistakes. But you know what? For that book that I just picked up recently and I found an error in it, I'm still glad it got published, because I learned a whole lot from that book. Who cares about that one, missing comma in that sentence or whatever? Don't worry about it. Press on with what you feel you need to do next, and you'll keep expanding your comfort zone. and, push past, that negative voice until it crops up again. But that's life. So those are like my recent thoughts on the matter as I've, reached push past this obstacle that and I've succeeded, and it's out there, that new product, and it's been a great day. So
That's awesome. Thank you, Julie. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I want to kind of recap what was shared, because if some people just jumped on and they didn't get to hear everything, I think it was great. I love, Catherine, how you shared about the marble jar. And it was funny because I saw that, I think, in your podcast before. And I was at my friend's new house this weekend, and they had by their bed a jar with marbles. And it was the same kind of thing. I was like, oh my gosh. So that is such a great reminder, just to give yourself a daily kind of treat and kind of reward yourself. And so thank you for saying that. And then, Lynn, when you talked about do scary things and just jump out there, I love your story and how you've jumped out and transformed your life. And look what you're doing and how you're helping so many people. And then, Liz, I love when you said, as expected. I think when you were giving us that story and how to transform what we say by saying, sorry, my dog, saying as expected. But I also think one of the things we do as women a lot is say, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. And we say that a lot, and how to get that out of our vocabulary as well. And just start with, I'm here, I'm happy to help, whatever it is. But I love as expected. That was great. And Julie, thank you for reminding us about the angel and the devil in us. We got both of those, but really back to focus on what you know, what you're made to do. And if you don't know your Clifton strengths, get your strengths. And there's some great ways to do that. But I think that is huge. So embrace your strengths, make sure you have a buddy. Avoid comparing yourself, and then make sure that you have this growth mindset. Everybody in this room has talent, and you're capable, and you belong. And we're just so glad you're here tonight. So we're going to close down this room. You can get this recording. It'll be live on our LinkedIn. We'll share this channel. And then we're going to go over to Clubhouse. And before I close down, Catherine, is there anything yet you want to say about Clubhouse and how to get there?
Sure. Thank you. So if you are only following us on LinkedIn Live, or you're watching the replay later, but you've enjoyed this and you think that you'd like to know where we hang out in Clubhouse, the room every Wednesday night at 6:15 Eastern US time, 5:15 Central, every Wednesday is called Female Founders Talk Shop. Female Founders Talk Shop. Men are absolutely invited to the conversation. We happen to have all female mods in this room for this hour. And so you're all welcome. And we talk about scaling and selling and all the aspects of running a business as a group of entrepreneurs. That room is under a club called B2B Sales Magic. So you can follow any of us. Find us on Clubhouse. Most of us are just at first name, last name on Clubhouse, or send us a direct message on LinkedIn and we'll tell you how to find us over in the room. But we're going to continue the conversation over in Clubhouse and invite people who have been listening there now to jump into the conversation. That's not a functionality we can do on LinkedIn Live. We can only respond to comments, but we can have a live conversation in Clubhouse. So if you didn't find us this week, find us later and join us over there, because we'll always continue the conversation over there after the LinkedIn Live. So thanks, Dana. Thanks for setting us up with this experiment. We appreciate you.